So, picture this. It's late February 2026, and a conflict that's been simmering for years just explodes into a full-blown war. On one side you have Iran, on the other a coordinated US-Israeli coalition. It all kicked off so suddenly with this incredible intensity that sent shockwaves across the entire globe. So let's break down exactly how this war unraveled.
So, what was the official reason? Well, it came straight from the White House. On the very first day of the attack, President Trump announced that the whole point of the operation was to take out what he called imminent threats. But the one event that really, truly lit the fuse was, well, it was far more personal.
In a single, absolutely stunning strike on Tehran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who had been Iran's supreme leader for more than 3 decades, was killed. And just like that, this one act transformed the entire conflict. This wasn't just about military strikes anymore. It was now an existential battle for the Iranian regime itself.
Now, this initial assault was no accident. It was meticulously planned. The US called its part of the mission Operation Epic Fury, while Israel's was named Operation Roaring Lion. And together they unleashed this coordinated, just overwhelming show of force.
And when I say overwhelming, I mean it. On the first day alone, we're talking about nearly 900 strikes hitting targets all across Iran. The goals were pretty clear. First, demolish Iran's ability to fight back, its navy, missile sites, command centers, the whole shebang. And second, bring about regime change. Killing Khamenei and his top commanders right there in Tehran made it crystal clear this was not some limited strike.
Okay, but let's be real. A full-scale war, one that kicks off with a strike to take out the head of state, that doesn't just happen overnight. So how in the world did things get to this point? To really get it, we have to rewind and look back at a whole decade of rising tensions and, frankly, collapsing diplomacy. You know, back in 2015, it looked like there might be a way out with the JCPOA nuclear deal. But that hope kind of died in 2018 when the US pulled out and started its maximum pressure campaign. Then things got even hotter in 2020 with the killing of General Qasem Soleimani. The 2023 Israel-Hamas war lit proxy fires all over the region, pulling the US and Iran closer and closer to a direct fight. And the final step, the real writing on the wall, was in June 2025, when both Israel and the US launched direct, even if limited, strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. It was a clear preview of the all-out war that was coming.
Okay, so let's jump back to the war in 2026. With its leadership in total chaos, Iran's response was swift, it was widespread, and it was absolutely devastating, not just for the region, but for its own people too.
Iran didn't just hit back at Israel. No, they lashed out across the entire region. Ballistic missiles flew toward Israel, sure, but they also targeted American military bases in Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Drones slammed into critical energy facilities in Saudi Arabia, and then, in a move designed to cause maximum economic pain, the Revolutionary Guard announced they were completely closing the Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for the world's oil.
And the human toll, my gosh, it just started climbing at a horrifying speed. In just the first few days, the Iranian Red Crescent was reporting a devastating minimum of 555 people killed inside Iran. But that number, as terrible as it is, really only hints at the true scale of the tragedy.
Some of these incidents were just uniquely horrific. A US assessment later said it was likely responsible for a bombing that hit an elementary school in southern Iran. It killed at least 175 people, and the vast majority of them were children. And the suffering didn't stop at Iran's borders. As the conflict spilled over, Israeli strikes targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon ignited a massive new refugee crisis, forcing an estimated 700,000 people to flee their homes.
But then, an alternative reason for America's involvement started to surface from the administration. Secretary of State Marco Rubio offered a different take, basically suggesting the US jumped in preemptively. The thinking was that Israel was going to strike Iran no matter what, and the administration figured Iran would have retaliated against US forces anyway. So, better to strike first, together.
So, in the middle of this war, with the supreme leader dead, Iran is facing this massive power vacuum. They had to pick a successor, and their choice, well, it turned out to be incredibly controversial, both at home and around the world. Iran's assembly of experts named Mojtaba Khamenei, the 56-year-old son of the leader who was just killed, as the new supreme leader. Now, unlike his father, who'd been a permanent fixture in the religious establishment for decades, Mojtaba had never even held public office.
He was mostly known as a hardliner, a guy who operated in the shadows with really deep connections to the powerful Revolutionary Guard Corps.
And the international reaction to this, it just shows you the huge geopolitical divide. President Trump immediately called the choice unacceptable. Russia's Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, sent his congratulations and called Russia a reliable partner. And then you had Israel's Mossad, which issued this chilling warning, saying that no matter who was chosen, his fate has been decreed.
Look, this was never just a regional conflict. The war, and putting this new hardline leader in power, immediately sent a massive shockwave right through the global economy, and it was all centered on one critical choke point.
The Strait of Hormuz. When Iran announced they were closing it, they were basically holding a fifth of the world's entire oil supply hostage. This narrow waterway is arguably the single most important choke point for global energy, and shutting it down created immediate panic in the markets.
And you can see the effect right here. Brent crude, which is a major global benchmark for oil, just surged. It was hovering around $82 a barrel before the war, and then it shot past $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022. That threatened a major inflationary shock for the whole world. And that brings us to the central question hanging over this whole crisis. The first phase of the war left Iran with a new, untested hardline leader. Its military was hurt, but not destroyed, and the global economy was teetering on the edge. So with all these pieces on the board, you have to ask, was Operation Epic Fury the end of the conflict, or was it just the violent beginning of a much larger and far more unpredictable war?